In September 2018, not far from the banks of the Shenandoah River, a violent crime shattered the tranquility of Warren County, Virginia. Basil John Chuppa, accused of strangulation and sexual battery inside this old trailer set back on his family's property. Chuppa convicted of those crimes months later, but investigators now asking the question if the woman attacked here was Chuppa's only victim. The answer may lie 125 miles away at the Department of Forensic Science in Richmond, Virginia. That is where one of the suspect's digital devices has sat for months, waiting to be analyzed for potential evidence of other sexual assault victims, waiting in line with hundreds of other pieces of digital evidence connected to unsolved crimes across Virginia.
We do have a backlog of about 200 cases.
That 200 case backlog dating back more than 5 years, according to records obtained by WUSA9, with at least one mobile device connected to a drug investigation sent for analysis way back in July of 2015. Other cases caught up in the backlog include an arson, explosive, and bomb crime committed in 2016, violent crimes and sex assaults from 2017, multiple death investigations from 2018, and a murder case that's been awaiting video analysis since March of this year. And so, this is the lab back here.
This is.
Linda Jackson, director of Virginia's Department of Forensic Science, took us on an exclusive tour of the lab where a small team of scientists looked for clues hidden inside the circuits of DVR boxes or a cell phone smashed by a suspect before police could take it into evidence. You guys are looking for that information that somebody didn't want found in that digital device.
And as damaged as it was, yes. I mean, that would be our interpretation, is that there's information on here that somebody did not want somebody to see.
James Davis is one of the forensic scientists trying to keep up with a caseload that seems to have no end in sight.
Long enough to raise a child to adulthood, pretty much, before it would all be done.
Director Jackson blames much of the backlog on staffing shortages that for a time left her digital forensics team down to 3 trained scientists to handle all the cases. The office now fully staffed at 6 full-time scientists, all of them tasked with catching up on cases that are so old even Jackson's office was surprised when they looked at some of the dates on the backlog list we got our hands on. When you see cases that have waited for analysis since 2015, 4 years now, are you concerned?
Well, certainly that is longer than we think that any examination should take.
Our investigation prompting the Department of Forensic Science to start calling around to see if all those cases caught up in the backlog are even still open. And as it turned out, not all of them were. More than a dozen departments saying their investigators waited so long for their digital evidence to be analyzed, they gave up and moved on without the results. So does that mean criminals walked free, cases were harder to prove in court, or even somebody was wrongly convicted? Well, we don't know for sure. That's because the Department of Forensic Science wouldn't give us any specifics on the criminal cases caught up in that backlog, meaning the impact of all this as much of a mystery as what might be on those digital devices in the first place. What would you say to the victim of a crime who is waiting for one of these analyses to be done?
What I would say is that we are continuing to increase capacity. We know that 4 years for turnaround time is not appropriate, and we're continuing to work towards making that no longer the case.